CEO thought she was the stripper for his party froze when he learned she was his new partner. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to our main character. The penthouse at the top of Hale Tower glows like a glass lantern over downtown Chicago, its floor-to-ceiling windows catching every reflection of the city lights. Inside, the atmosphere is warm, low-lit humming with soft music and the distant chatter of Adrian Hale's closest circle. It is not a wild party, just an exclusive gathering of a few executives celebrating a closed-quarter deal. Crystal glasses clink. Someone laughs from the balcony. Everything feels curated, expensive, intentional. But at the entrance, something unexpected happens. The elevator doors slide open with a quiet sigh, revealing a woman standing alone, clutching a slim portfolio to her chest. Maya Tran hesitates for a moment. Her black dress is simple, elegant, but modest. Her heels are not designer, just carefully polished. The concierge downstairs had confidently pointed her to penthouse level, insisting this was where the meeting would be held. The message she received earlier from the Hale Enterprises assistant said tonight 8 p.m. Hale Tower. Private suite upstairs, so she takes a breath, steps forward and walks inside. The air shifts. Adrian Hale, the 34-year-old CEO with sharp features and a reputation for being almost impossibly composed, looks up from the leather sofa. For a second, his expression does not change. He studies her with cool gray eyes, the way a man might study a new wine brought to the table. His friends glance at each other, smirking, whispering under their breath. Maya freezes under the attention. She clears her throat softly. "Excuse me. I think I am here for." Adrian raises one eyebrow. His voice is even smooth, far too calm. "You are the entertainment, correct?" The word slices the air. Maya blinks. "I am sorry." "The what?" Before she can process, Adrian's assistant steps in from behind him, a man holding a discreet envelope, as if this is a routine transaction. He extends it toward her casually. "Payment is in here." "Same arrangement as discussed." Maya's face drains. Her fingers instinctively tighten around her portfolio. I am not. I think there has been a mistake." But Adrian is already leaning back, watching her with a faint, unreadable half-smile. Not mocking, just assuming. Assuming she is exactly what he ordered. Heat rushes to her cheeks. Embarrassment. Anger. Something sharp and stinging in her chest. She takes one step back, shaking her head. "No. I am not here for this. I am leaving." Without waiting for a response, she turns and heads for the elevator. The doors slide closed behind her, sealing the moment in silence. Adrian watches the elevator numbers drop slowly, a slight crease forming between his brows. Something does not align. Something feels off. When he glances down at the floor, he notices a single sheet of paper she dropped. A diagram. Clean lines. Technical notes. A bold title at the top: Novamind Systems, Cognitive Adaptive Engine Proposal. He stares at it, puzzled for the first time all night. And far below in the lobby, Maya steps out of the elevator with her heart pounding, trying to swallow the humiliation away. She came here to save her company. She came here prepared. She came here believing she had a chance. But tonight everything begins with a devastating misunderstanding. And she has no idea how much worse or how much more extraordinary it is going to get. The next morning, sunlight pours through the tall windows of Hale Tower, turning the marble lobby into a sheet of gold. The city hums below, but on the 54th floor, everything feels painfully quiet. Maya Tran steps out of the elevator with her portfolio held tight against her side, shoulders squared in a way that feels more like armor than confidence. She barely slept, replaying the humiliation from the penthouse over and over, but she has no choice. Novamind is out of time. This meeting is the last chance to save it. She inhales slowly, then pushes open the glass door to the main conference room. Inside, the long table gleams under soft recessed lighting. The skyline stretches endlessly through the wall of windows. A few executives shuffle papers, whispering among themselves. But it is the man standing near the head of the table who makes her pulse jump. Adrian Hale. His suit is immaculate charcoal gray, tailored to perfection. His expression is unreadable, but the moment he sees her, something flickers behind his eyes. Recognition, confusion, and a split second of guilt so quick she almost doubts it. Maya lifts her chin and keeps walking. "Good morning," she says, voice steady despite the knot in her chest. Adrian responds with a subtle nod, professional and distant. "Miss Tran." Their last interaction hangs unspoken in the air like static. None of the other executives know what happened last night, and Maya intends to keep it that way. She pulls out a chair, sets her portfolio down, and forces her breathing to slow. Adrian clears his throat and addresses the room. "Let us begin." He gestures for her to start. For a moment, Maya hesitates. Her fingers brush the edge of the portfolio. Last night she was mistaken for something she was not. Today, she has to prove exactly who she is. She steps to the front of the room, opens her presentation, and begins. Novamind Systems specializes in cognitive adaptive technology. Our engine is designed to learn with the user, not above the user. It can adjust in real time, increasing efficiency and reducing operational waste across any sector. Her voice strengthens with every sentence. The nervousness melts away as the familiar rhythm of her expertise takes over. She gestures to charts, diagrams, and real case studies. Her idea is bold, innovative, and years ahead of the market. The executives lean forward, exchanging looks of surprise. But Adrian does not move. He stands perfectly still, hands clasped, eyes fixed on her as if studying more than just the slides, studying her composure, studying the way she commands the room, studying the contrast between the woman from the penthouse and the woman reshaping his entire boardroom. When she finishes, silence settles over the table. Then one executive clears his throat. "This is impressive work. How did you develop this engine with such a small team?" Maya answers with honesty. "We built it the way all underdogs do. With long nights, too much caffeine, and a lot of stubborn hope." A few people laugh softly. Adrian does not. Instead, he steps closer, his eyes dropping to the corner of her portfolio. There is a faint crease on the leather cover, a mark from where it hit his penthouse floor last night. His jaw tightens, a reminder of how gravely he misjudged her. "Miss Tran," he says, "finally, your proposal is unexpected." There is something in his voice she did not hear last night. Respect. Maybe even admiration. But before she can respond, the conference room door opens. Adrian's senior vice president steps in, leans to whisper something in his ear. Adrian listens, then stiffens slightly. Whatever he heard, it pulls his attention away for just a moment. "I will need a few minutes," he says to the room. "Let us take a short break." As the executives rise, Adrian's gaze returns to Maya, steady and unreadable. "We are not finished, Miss Tran." He leaves the room without another word, and Maya stands alone at the front of the conference table, her pulse quickening once more. She came here to save her company. She did not expect to turn the head of the man who almost ruined her the night before. And she has no idea that this morning is only the beginning. Adrian Hale does not return immediately. 10 minutes pass, then 15. The executives wander back and settling into their seats with quiet murmurs. Maya stands near the window, watching the clouds drift across the Chicago skyline. Her hands are steady, but her stomach twists with dread. Whatever pulled Adrian out of the room must be serious, and she worries that her chance is slipping through her fingers again. Finally, the door opens. Adrian steps inside, his expression composed but his eyes sharper than before. He walks to the head of the table without sitting, and for a brief moment he studies Maya, as if resetting his understanding of who she is. "Let us continue," he says simply. Maya nods and returns to her seat, though her pulse remains unsteady. Adrian opens the folder in front of him. Your technology is ambitious, Miss Tran. It is also untested at scale. If we invest heavily, and it fails, that failure reflects on my company. Maya meets his gaze. I understand the risk, Mr. Hale, but I also understand the potential. NovaMind was built to solve real problems for real companies. This is not a dream. It is a tool. Adrian leans back slightly. And how many investors turn you away before you came to us? The question stings, but she answers honestly. 3. Not because the technology was weak, because I did not have the resources to take it further on my own. Adrian does not look amused. He looks thoughtful. He taps a finger on the table, a controlled rhythmic motion. Your engine could change entire industries, but potential alone does not earn funding. Maya swallows. Then let me show you a live demo. I brought the workstation with me. 5 minutes. That is all I need. There is a flicker in his eyes. Challenge. Curiosity. Something she has not seen in a long time. Very well, he says. She stands and rolls her workstation case to the large monitor at the front of the room. When she powers it on the interface, blooms across the screen in smooth gradients of blue. She connects her sensor module, then turns back to face the table. This engine adapts to the user. It observes patterns and anticipates needs. To demonstrate, I need someone to operate it without preparation. She expects one of the junior executives to volunteer. Instead, Adrian steps forward. I will try it, he says. A few executives exchange surprised glances. Maya did not expect it either. Adrian stands in front of the monitor, hands in his pockets. The engine scans basic parameters and begins to assemble a workflow model based on his posture and pacing. Visual nodes shift and pulse as if the program is thinking aloud. Maya narrates each step carefully. The engine is reading your stress markers. Notice how the nodes adjust based on your breathing. Adrian watches the display, his expression tightening. It should not be able to read that quickly. It does, she replies. And that is why it works. The room grows silent. For the first time, Adrian looks as if he is seeing something more than technology. He is seeing possibility. He steps back. That is enough. Maya powers down the system, her heart racing. Adrian returns to his seat, slowly, fingers steepled beneath his chin. The senior vice president clears his throat. Mr. Hale, what is your view on moving forward? Adrian does not look at him. His eyes remain on Maya. This proposal requires further review, he says, voice level. We will reconvene at the end of the day. A wave of disappointment tightens in Maya's chest. She hoped for something more immediate, something certain, but as everyone begins to gather their things, Adrian stands and addresses her directly. Miss Tran, stay for a moment. The room empties. Maya remains by the table, unsure what expression to hold. When the door finally closes behind the last executive, Adrian steps closer. His voice is lower, more human than it has been all morning. Last night, he says, I made a mistake that should not have happened. Maya does not look away. Yes. You did. He nods, once accepting the hit. I misjudged you. I misjudged your purpose. And that mistake is now interfering with my evaluation of your proposal. A humorless breath escapes her. I would prefer if my work spoke louder than your misunderstanding. That is exactly what it is doing, he replies quietly. And that is the problem. Maya frowns. I do not understand. Adrian holds her gaze. Your proposal is strong. Strong enough that I need to be certain I am choosing it for the right reason. Her heart stops for a beat. He continues, meet me in my office in 1 hour. Alone. We are not finished, Miss Tran. He walks out, leaving Maya standing in the quiet conference room, her pulse shivering with a mix of hope, anger, and something she cannot yet name. She came here to save her company. Now she wonders what she has awakened in the man who nearly destroyed her confidence the night before. 1 hour later, the atmosphere on the top floor of Hale Tower feels heavier, as if the entire building is waiting for Maya Tran to make a single wrong move. She steps out of the elevator, smoothing the front of her jacket, trying to steady her breathing. The hallway is quiet, lined with glass walls and polished steel accents, every detail elegant and intimidating. At the end of the corridor is the corner office framed by panoramic windows and a heavy walnut door that stands slightly open. Maya raises her hand and knocks gently. Adrian Hale's voice carries out calm and controlled. "Come in." She steps inside. The office is enormous, filled with shelves, a black marble desk, and a view of the lake stretching out like silver glass. Adrian stands near the window, his jacket off his sleeves, rolled up as if he has been wrestling with something impossible to solve. He turns to her with a steady expression. "Miss Tran, thank you for coming." Maya remains near the door. She refuses to feel small in this room, even if her pulse says otherwise. "You asked to see me," she says. Adrian nods and moves toward his desk. "Yes, have a seat." She sits, placing her hands neatly in her lap. Adrian studies her for a moment, the way someone studies a puzzle piece that suddenly makes the entire picture clearer. He exhales slowly. "Before we discuss your proposal, I want to address something directly." Maya's jaw tightens. "Last night." "Yes," he replies. "Last night." Silence stretches between them. He continues. "The situation in the penthouse was my fault. I allowed an assumption to become a judgment, and that judgment was unprofessional and disrespectful." Maya holds his gaze. "It was." He nods, once accepting the truth without defense. "The more I watch your work, the more the memory of that mistake interferes with my objectivity. I find myself questioning whether my decisions today are based on your technology or on the guilt I feel for how I treated you." Maya's eyebrows lift slightly. "You think guilt makes you see the project differently?" "Yes," he admits. "And that is unacceptable." Maya leans forward. "Then let me make something clear. I am not asking you to like me. I am not asking you to redeem anything. I am asking you to evaluate Novamind for what it is. If you walk away because the technology is not good enough, then I can live with that. But if you walk away because you are afraid of appearing biased, then that is the wrong decision." Her voice does not shake, it sharpens. "And it is not fair to me or to my team." Adrian studies her, the tension in his shoulders shifting. Something in her unwavering honesty disarms him. "No one speaks to me like that," he says quietly. Maya answers without missing a beat. "Maybe that is why you needed to hear it." The corners of his mouth lift, not into a smile but into a small, almost surprised change in expression. He opens a folder on his desk and slides a page toward her. "These are the preliminary numbers from your demo. They are strong, very strong." Maya looks down at the printed data. Her chest tightens with cautious hope. But Adrian adds there is another complication. She looks up. "What is it?" He steps around the desk and stops a few feet from her, his voice steady. "There is a gala tonight. Our annual investor summit. Novamind is on the list of companies I am presenting for potential funding. If I put you on that stage, the board will assume I am endorsing your project fully." Maya frowns. "Is that a problem?" "It is a responsibility," he says. "Once I introduce you, we cannot step back quietly." She thinks for a moment, then answers. "Then introduce me, because I earned it." His eyes narrow, not in anger but in appraisal. She is not afraid of pressure. She is not intimidated by prestige. She is the first person to walk into his office in years and challenge him with nothing but truth. Finally, Adrian gives a single nod. "Very well. You will join me at the summit tonight." Maya exhales a breath she did not realize she was holding. But he is not finished. "There is one more thing," he adds. "Appearances matter. Attendees will expect you to arrive with me, not separately. I will send a car to pick you up at 7. Maya blinks. "Arrive with you." As what Adrian's expression does not soften, but his voice does. "As my business partner." Nothing more and nothing less. The words settle between them with a weight that makes Maya's heart beat faster. She stands slowly. "Then I will be ready." Adrian watches her as she reaches the door. She can feel his gaze on her back. Not possessive, not inappropriate, simply aware. Intensely aware. And as she steps out of his office, one thought pulses through her mind. This partnership is going to change everything. The evening arrives faster than Maya expects. By the time she finishes reviewing her slides and double-checking her demo materials, her nerves feel stretched thin. She stands in front of the mirror in her small apartment, smoothing the front of her navy dress. It is simple, structured, and professional. Not flashy. Not extravagant. Just enough to show she belongs in the room she is about to enter. At exactly 7 o'clock, headlights sweep across her window. She steps outside to find a sleek black sedan waiting at the curb. The driver steps out and opens the door with a polite nod. "Miss Tran, Mr. Hale asked me to bring you to the summit." She exhales slowly and gets inside. The city lights blur past as the car moves through downtown. Her hands rest on her lap, but her mind spins with everything that has led to this moment. The misunderstanding, the humiliation, the presentation, the invitation. She keeps replaying Adrian's voice in her head as my business partner. Nothing more and nothing less. The car stops beneath the grand awning of the Sterling Hall, an elegant venue known for hosting Chicago's wealthiest investors. Paparazzi wait near the entrance, flashes popping like tiny bursts of lightning. Maya steps out carefully, heart pounding. Then she hears his voice. "Miss Tran." She turns. Adrian stands there in a black tailored suit, the precise kind that looks effortless but costs more than her monthly rent. He approaches with calm, measured steps, his presence drawing eyes from every direction. "You look prepared," he says. Maya forces a steady nod. "I am." He offers his arm. It is a gesture of professionalism, not intimacy, but it still makes her pulse jump. She hesitates for half a second, then accepts. Together they walk into the building, flanked by curious stares. Inside, the ballroom chandeliers sparkle above tables dressed in white linen and crystal centerpieces. Men and women in designer attire mingle, exchanging handshakes and calculated smiles. But as soon as Adrian enters, conversations quiet and heads turn. He is the center of gravity in every room he walks into. He leans slightly toward her. "Remember, do not let the attention shake you. You earned your place here." She nods, grateful for the reassurance. As they move deeper into the ballroom, they are greeted by a board member named Samuel Briggs, a man in his late 50s with sharp eyes and a forced smile. "Adrian," he says, "good to see you. And this must be—" Maya Tran, Adrian answers quickly. "Founder of Novamind Systems. She will be presenting with me tonight." Samuel's eyebrows jump. Impressive. Unexpected. But impressive. Maya shakes his hand, sensing the underlying skepticism. She has dealt with men like him before, polite in public, dismissive underneath. She responds with calm professionalism. "Thank you. Novamind has been preparing for this opportunity for a long time." Samuel's smile tightens. "We will see how it performs on stage." He moves on, leaving a cold trail of judgment behind. Maya exhales, steadying herself. Adrian watches her closely. "You handled that well," he says. "I am used to people underestimating me," she replies. For the first time tonight, something like a real smile touches Adrian's face. Small, subtle, but there. A chime echoes through the room. The host steps onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Tonight, Hale Enterprises will be presenting emerging technologies selected for partnership and large-scale funding. First on stage, Mr. Adrian Hale." Adrian looks at Maya. "Are you ready?" She lifts her chin. "Yes." They walk toward the stage together. As the lights brighten, Maya can feel dozens of eyes on her. The pressure grows heavy, but her resolve grows stronger. Adrian takes the podium and begins to speak with measured authority. "Tonight I am presenting a technology that has the potential to change the way industries operate across the country." Maya stands behind him, waiting for her cue, her breath steady, her focus absolute. But near the side of the stage, she catches sight of something that makes her heart jolt. A familiar face. One of the competitor executives she pitched 2 months ago. The same man who dismissed her proposal without even reading it. He is whispering urgently to another board member, pointing toward her with a scowl. Maya feels the air tighten around her. Whatever is coming next, it will not be easy, and it will test everything she has fought for so far. Maya feels the tension before anything happens. The hostile whispering at the side of the stage grows sharper, more animated. The competitor executive she recognizes, Richard Cole, keeps glancing at her with a look that is far too familiar, resentment mixed with the thrill of sabotage. He leans toward a Hale board member, murmuring quickly, shaking his head as if warning him about something urgent. Maya straightens her posture, refusing to let doubt sink its teeth into her. Adrian continues his introduction at the podium, unaware of the quiet storm forming just off stage. Novamind's adaptive engine, Adrian says, is unlike anything our company has evaluated before. It is efficient, scalable, and capable of responding to user behavior in real time. This technology has the potential to reshape operations across multiple industries. The audience leans forward, curious. Richard Cole steps closer to the board member and whispers louder, his voice carrying just enough for Maya to catch a few words. She is not credible. Watch this. She will embarrass his company. A spark of anger hits her chest. She looks away, jaw tight. Then Adrian gestures toward her. Now I would like to introduce the founder of Novamind, Miss Maya Tran. Applause fills the ballroom. Maya steps onto the stage beside Adrian, her heart pounding but her expression controlled. She takes her place at the second podium, hands steady, voice ready. But before she can begin, Richard Cole makes his move. He raises a hand from the audience. Mr. Hale, may I ask a question before Miss Tran continues? The host pauses. Adrian turns toward him, eyes sharpening. Richard smiles politely, but the cruelty beneath it is unmistakable. It is fascinating that you have chosen Novamind, he says loud enough for the entire ballroom to hear. But I have concerns about Miss Tran's professionalism. A hush sweeps through the room. Maya's stomach drops. Adrian's expression turns ice cold. Richard continues. Just last night she was seen entering Mr. Hale's private penthouse during a celebration. That does not strike me as appropriate conduct for a potential business partner. Gasps ripple through the audience. Maya feels herself freeze. Adrian steps forward sharply. Enough. But Richard lifts a hand as if he is simply stating facts. I am merely pointing out a conflict of interest. We are discussing a multi-million-dollar partnership. Should we not ensure that every party involved is credible? The implication hangs in the air like poison. Maya finds her voice, but it fractures slightly. I was misdirected to the wrong floor. I never. Richard cuts in smoothly. It is convenient to say that now. Maya's throat tightens. Her humiliation from the night before returns like a punch. The image of the envelope, the stares, the whispers. Now every investor in the room is imagining the same false scenario. Adrian steps beside her, his voice low but steady. Miss Tran, you do not need to respond to that. But Maya feels something rise inside her. She thinks of her team, her long nights, her company on the edge. She cannot let this man twist her truth again. She takes the microphone. My professionalism is not defined by where someone else assumed I belonged, she says clearly. Novamind has survived on integrity, innovation, and resilience. I have walked into rooms where I was underestimated, dismissed, and ignored. Yet here I am. The audience grows silent. She continues, her voice stronger now. If anyone here doubts my credibility, look at my work. Not my presence in a hallway. Not one moment taken out of context, and not the assumptions of a man who never once read my proposal. A few investors nod subtly. Richard's jaw shifts with irritation. Adrian steps forward, placing one hand on the podium. His voice cuts through the room with authority. To clarify the matter, Miss Tran entered my penthouse because my staff gave her the wrong instructions. That is on me, not on her. And I will not allow anyone to weaponize my mistake for their personal gain. A ripple of shock moves across the ballroom. Richard's expression twists. Adrian stands taller. Maya Tran is here because her technology is exceptional. I invited her because her work deserves to be on this stage. Maya looks at him, surprised by the conviction in his voice. Adrian finishes with a calm but cutting edge. If anyone wishes to question her credibility again, they can question mine first. The ballroom goes still. Richard slowly sinks back into his seat, defeated. Maya turns to the screen behind her, breath steadying. She begins her demo with clarity, confidence, and quiet fire. And the room listens. Because for the first time tonight, the investors are not only seeing Novamind, they are seeing her. The ballroom remains quiet long after Maya finishes her demo. The last sequence of her adaptive engine fades from the giant screen, leaving only the soft glow of the stage lights. Investors look at one another, murmuring, weighing everything they have just witnessed. Some exchange impressed glances. Others study her with newfound respect. But Maya barely feels any of it. Her heart is still pounding from the confrontation. Her hands are slightly cold, yet her voice had held. She had faced Richard Cole. She had stood her ground, and Adrian Hale had defended her with a clarity she never expected. The host thanks her and directs the audience to the networking hall for refreshments. People begin to disperse. Some approach to shake her hand, compliment her work, or ask about the engine's potential. She answers politely, but her thoughts are distant. Eventually, the crowd thins, leaving only the quiet hum of staff clearing glasses and adjusting lighting. Maya steps off the stage and moves toward a side corridor to catch her breath. She does not get far. Adrian appears behind her. Miss Tran. She stops, turns. The CEO stands only a few steps away, shoulders squared, posture tense. Up close, his expression is unreadable, but something in his eyes is softer than before. You handled yourself well, he says. Thank you. Her voice is steady. I meant what I said on the stage. I know. He pauses, as if considering his next words. Your integrity speaks louder than Richard's attempt to discredit you. Maya lets out a slow breath. It was humiliating. Not just tonight. Last night as well. It feels like every step of this process someone has tried to define me by a misunderstanding. Adrian's jaw tightens. And that is my fault. For a long moment there is only silence between them. Then Maya looks away. My company needed this chance. I needed this chance. I cannot afford to let one mistake, your mistake, destroy everything I built. Adrian's voice lowers. I do not want to be the reason you fail. She meets his eyes again. Then do not be. Their gaze holds tense and complicated. The noise from the ballroom fades behind them. Before either of them can speak again, the host steps into the hall. Mr. Hale, the board is requesting a private session. They want your assessment of Novamind. Adrian nods, but he does not look away from Maya. I will be back. She watches as he follows the host through a set of glass doors. Her pulse picks up again. Whatever happens in that room will determine everything. Minutes pass. Then more. Maya waits alone in the hallway, her nerves twisting with every second. Footsteps occasionally echo somewhere distant, but none belong to Adrian. The anxiety coils tighter. What if Richard convinced the board? What if the misunderstanding outweighs her work? What if Adrian thinks the risk is too great? Finally, the doors open. Board members walk out first, their conversations low and unreadable. None of them glance her way. Adrian is last. He steps into the hallway and closes the doors behind him. His expression gives nothing away. Maya's breath catches. What did they say? Adrian looks at her for a long moment, searching her face, as if choosing his words with precision. They want more time. His voice is calm, almost too calm. They want to review your data, evaluate the risk factors, and compare Novamind to the other proposals. Her stomach sinks. So they are leaning toward no. I did not say that, Adrian replies, but they are cautious, and I cannot force a decision tonight. Maya folds her arms tightly across her chest. You defended me. You defended my work. But it is still not enough. Adrian steps closer. It will be. But you need to trust the process. Her voice cracks slightly. My company does not have the luxury of time. He studies her, the tension in his face softening just a fraction. There is another factor, he says quietly. Richard Cole did not just try to discredit you. He brought documents. Personal ones. He has been collecting information to sabotage you for months. Maya stiffens. What? Adrian nods. He showed the board emails, messages, anything he could twist to make you seem unstable or unreliable. Her breath trembles. Why would he do that? Because you turned down his buyout offer last year, Adrian says. He told the board you were reckless for refusing it. Maya closes her eyes. Anger building. I refused because his offer was designed to bury Novamind, not support it. I know. Adrian's voice is steady. But now we have to counter his narrative. She looks up at him, confusion and hurt colliding. How Adrian holds her gaze unflinching. By proving beyond any doubt that your integrity, your leadership, and your technology are stronger than his smear campaign. A long silence follows. Then quietly Adrian adds, Maya, I am not stepping away from this. And I am not stepping away from you. Her breath catches. But before she can respond, the ballroom lights dim, signaling the end of the session. People begin gathering their coats, preparing to leave. Adrian steps back, his voice lower. This is not the outcome we wanted tonight. But this is not the end. Tomorrow morning be at Hale Tower at 8. We will face the board again. Maya nods slowly. And as she watches Adrian walk away, disappearing into the crowd of executives and investors, one truth becomes clear. Tonight was not the victory she hoped for. It was the battle before the war. The next morning, the sky over Chicago is a dull gray, the kind that makes the entire city feel slower and heavier. Maya arrives at Hale Tower exactly at 8 o'clock as Adrian instructed. Her steps echo across the marble floor, while her pulse races with quiet dread. She barely slept. Every possible outcome of today's meeting replayed in her head like a looping nightmare. The receptionist directs her upstairs, and when the elevator doors open, she finds Adrian already waiting near the conference room. He looks composed, but there is a certain intensity in his expression that was not there last night. Miss Tran, he says, come with me. He leads her not into the boardroom but into his office. Sunlight pours across the polished floors. A stack of folders sits on his desk along with a silver thermos and 2 paper cups. I brought coffee, he says simply. You look like you need it. She manages a tired smile. I do. He pours them each a cup. For a moment there is nothing but the quiet clink of the thermos lid and the distant hum of traffic below. Then Adrian sets his cup down. The board is on edge, he says. Richard Cole has been contacting several members privately. He is trying to influence them before the meeting starts. Maya's shoulders stiffen. So he is still at it, yes. But he underestimated something. Adrian picks up a folder and hands it to her. This is what we will use today. She opens it cautiously. Inside are pages of corrected reports, detailed analyses, and verification notes. Adrian had stayed up all night dissecting her engine's performance from the gala for the board's review. He had included risk mitigation plans, scaling projections, and a summary of her leadership history that stands in stark contrast to the distorted version Richard tried to spread. Maya looks up at him, stunned. You did all this? Yes. His tone is calm but firm. If they question your credibility, they will have to confront mine because I am personally vouching for everything inside that folder. Her voice softens. Adrian, you did not have to. I did, he says. Because last night I realized something. Investors will always find a reason to doubt a newcomer. A competitor will always find a way to sabotage a threat, but integrity is not something they can fabricate or destroy, and you have more of it than anyone in that ballroom. Maya feels something shift inside her chest. gratitude, relief, but also something deeper, something she is not ready to name. Before she can respond, an assistant knocks. "Mr. Hale, the board is ready." Adrian nods and gestures for Maya to follow. They walk into the conference room together. 12 board members sit around the long table, folders open, expressions guarded. Richard Cole is not present, but his shadow lingers in their skepticism. The chairman clears his throat. "Mr. Hale, we understand you have additional evidence to present." Adrian stands. "I do." He begins by walking them through the corrected data. His tone is sharp, unwavering, the voice of a man who knows exactly what he is doing. He addresses every concern Richard attempted to raise. He dismantles each misleading claim with facts, verification checks, and precise modeling. Then unexpectedly he shifts the attention to Maya. "Miss Tran," he says, "would you come forward?" She rises slowly, stepping beside him. Adrian turns back to the board. "Last night you witnessed an attempt to smear this woman's character. Not her technology, not her competency, her character. And that makes it more damaging than any critique of her work because it is personal. It is destructive. It is unprofessional." Several board members shift in their seats. Adrian continues, "I was the one who created the misunderstanding Richard Cole referred to. I was the one who misinterpreted Miss Tran's presence in my penthouse, and she was the one who showed more dignity in leaving than I did in assuming." Maya's breath catches. He is admitting everything. Clearly, publicly. He steps slightly aside so the board can see her clearly. Her work speaks for itself. Her conduct speaks louder. If you want to evaluate NovaMind, evaluate the technology, but do not punish its creator for the lies of a threatened competitor. The room is silent. Then the chairman exhales slowly. "Miss Tran, do you have anything to add?" Maya looks at the table of powerful individuals staring at her, then at Adrian standing beside her, steady and unflinching. "Yes," she says, "I do." Her voice is calm but strong enough to carry across the entire room. "I have built NovaMind from nothing. No funding, no safety net, no shortcuts. If I am standing here today, it is because my team and I refused to give up even when the odds were impossible. If you decide not to invest, that is your choice. But if you let misinformation guide your decision, then you are not evaluating the technology. You are evaluating a rumor." A long pause follows. The chairman leans back. "We will deliberate." He dismisses them. As Maya and Adrian step out into the hallway, she exhales shakily. "Do you think it was enough?" Adrian turns to her. "I think it was more than enough. But the truth is, neither of them knows what the board will decide." The tension coils in the air between them, heavy and uncertain. And they both know the next hour could change everything. The hour that follows feels endless. Maya waits in a quiet lounge outside the boardroom, the city stretching beyond the windows like a restless sea of steel and light. She keeps pacing, unable to sit still. Every few minutes she checks the time as if that will somehow make the decision arrive faster. Adrian stands near the window, arms crossed, watching her with a calm expression that does not quite reach his eyes. He is composed, but she can tell his mind is turning just as fiercely as hers. Finally, the boardroom door opens. The chairman steps out, followed by the other members. Their expressions are unreadable. Maya forces her breath to slow as the chairman approaches. "Miss Tran," he says, "thank you for your patience." She nods, once unable to speak. The chairman continues. After thorough review, the board has reached a decision regarding NovaMind's proposal. A beat of silence. "We are approving the partnership." Maya's breath escapes in a sharp, stunned exhale. The chairman smiles politely. "We believe NovaMind has exceptional potential, and your presentation demonstrated both leadership and technological vision. Hale Enterprises will begin drafting the official contract this afternoon." Maya whispers, "Thank you. Thank you very much." The members shake her hand before heading toward the elevators. When the last one disappears, Maya turns to Adrian, her chest rising and falling as though she has been holding her breath for days. It happened, she says quietly. They approved it. Adrian steps closer. Yes, they did. She laughs softly, a sound full of disbelief and relief. I cannot believe it. You earned it, he replies. There is a warmth in his voice she has not heard before. Something steady. Something honest. For the first time since they met, the tension between them eases, replaced by something almost gentle. Maya looks down at the folder still in her hand, the one Adrian assembled overnight, the one that helped clear the path for this moment. I should thank you, she says. Not just for the board meeting. For everything. Adrian shakes his head. Do not thank me for correcting my own mistake. What you accomplished today stands on its own. She meets his eyes. Maybe. But I would not have made it this far without your support. He pauses, studying her as if weighing something he has been holding back. Then his voice softens. Maya, I have been thinking a great deal about last night. And everything that followed. About how quickly I judged you and how much you proved that judgment wrong. She swallows, her pulse fluttering. People make mistakes. Yes, he says. But not everyone admits them. And not everyone gets a second chance to fix them. A quiet stillness settles between them. Adrian takes a small step closer, close enough that she can see the conflict flickering in his eyes. I want you to know something. This partnership, it is not about guilt. And it is not about pressure. It is about respect. Genuine respect. Her breath catches. Adrian. He hesitates, then speaks more carefully. If at any point you feel that working with me complicates anything, tell me. I will not let personal feelings interfere with your success. Maya tilts her head slightly. Personal feelings. Are you saying you have them? Adrian exhales. A faint, controlled breath. And that somewhere between the misunderstanding and the boardroom I started seeing you not just as a founder with extraordinary vision, but as someone I genuinely admire. Her heart beats harder, he adds softly. But I will not move a step closer unless you want me to. Maya looks at him, the man who misjudged her, challenged her, defended her, and ultimately stood beside her when it mattered most. The man who could have ruined her but instead helped her rise. She answers gently. You do not need to move closer, Adrian. You already did. A subtle warmth softens his expression. He extends his hand not as a CEO, not as a man seeking redemption, but as a partner. Then let us start this new chapter together, he says. On equal ground, Maya places her hand in his, feeling a spark of something hopeful. Together she agrees. As they walk side by side toward the elevator, the morning light spills across the hallway, casting long, bright reflections across the polished floor. Nova Mind has a future. Her dignity has been restored. And somewhere between rivalry, misunderstanding, and redemption, something new has begun, quiet, steady, and unmistakably real. The doors close behind them, marking the end of one story and the beginning of another.